You tormented souls.
Sound effects in this podcast is brought to you by Festlian Studios, BattleBards.com, and Pro Sound, and some of them are made by the Dungeon Master himself. This show is R-rated, so everybody, be advised. Welcome back to Nordic D&D, the Ariana Saga. My name is John, and I am your host, Dungeon Master, and narrator in this podcast. Welcome to episode 22. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe or follow us so you don't miss an episode of this Dungeons & Dragons podcast. And guys, be sure to leave a comment and tell us what you think about the podcast, put your input, and maybe say hello, and we'll give you a greeting here right on this show. If you like more D&D material, be sure to check out our YouTube channel called the Nerd Hangout, where we have lots of episodes where we discuss and show our love and gratitude to Dungeons & Dragons. And if I myself should give recommendations for other YouTube material when it comes to Dungeons & Dragons, be sure to check out Matthew Colville, check out Critical Role, and check out the Dungeon Dudes. All good material for inspiration and learning about Dungeons & Dragons. Now, before we continue the show, let's have a word from BattleBards.com. If you like cool sound effects like this, then go to our homepage at podbean.nordicdnd.com, click on battlebards.com and let them know Nordic D&D sent you. And we would be grateful for it. Now, using battlebards.com, you don't have to be creating a podcast or any fantasy genre. They also have cool sci-fi sound archives also on the BattleBards library. And when you use it, you can use it for just background sounds and music in your own home games, and if you are playing online. I think it's very cool. They have different ways you can use their material. Of course, you have to read their license and their policies, but you can earn you can get a subscription where you pay monthly, or you can just pay for individual sounds and music that you use. Very cool. I can't highly recommend battlebards.com enough. Another resource that I like and use a lot, even in this podcast, is Festlian Studios. They have a lot of music which I use, and sound effects also. Go check that out also, guys. And now, enough of the commercials and announcements. We're going to continue with Nordic D&D, the Ariana Saga. Last episode, we lost a dear friend, Hunter. He died a self-sacrificial way, breaking the bond of his patron. Killing him off, making him weaker, we do not know yet. But it set the soul of Hunter free, and spared the life of Hunter and all the people who live in Westmorrow. Now, Kettle was shocked after what happened and the way it happened. He is confused and has no understanding what is going on, and he blames the people of Bliss. To be more precise, he actually blames Taugrim and Kuruk, the Magi. They were the last people who talked to Hunter before Hunter changed the way he acts and the decisions he makes. Kettle put it this way, that Hunter had never sacrificed himself for the benefit of a cause. It seems so unlike Hunter. Kettle thinks Kuruk and Taugrim have manipulated him some way, put these thoughts in his mind. That is the way it seems by how Kettle is angry in the discussions he had with Taugrim last episode. We don't know how this bitterness is going to affect him. But last episode, there was a discussion between Taugrim as he was in solitude, mourning himself, seeking guidance from Bushka. Kettle came there. He told him how he feels, how confused he is. But he is angry. He still wants to support the revolution. to free the halflings, but not like this. Let's continue to see how they're gonna end this conflict. Now this will be the day after the horrible news that Hunter has passed. It is early in Bliss. It is raining. It is cold. And there's still a heavy cloud of mourning and depression over Bliss. Our focus now is going to be on one of the halflings who actually was saved by the wall, who arrived on the second griffin with Kettle. He is sitting in the middle of Bliss in one of the rescue camps, and this is going to be the new character of Martin Rajan.
So he's one of the ones on the back of the griffin whom I just saved.
Yeah, the one who grabbed your leg as you were departing.
That's good to know, because I resent them.
Yeah. Anyway, Martin, your character has recovered slightly from his wounds, and you know and feel the sorrow of all the people around you from what happened at the wall. Also the horrific thing that happened to the halflings that didn't make it, and this hero of Bliss which has fallen. So there's a lot of tension in town, and you're sitting in this refuge camp, and the floor is yours.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm just resting for now. I don't really know. It's all been a bit quite hectic and like shocking, and
Yeah, you hear different reactions around this refugee camp. You see people eating at soup stations and food stations, and then there are healing stations where people are being healed from different wounds and illnesses around from Bliss. Not from some specific reason, you don't know anything about this. But you hear people talking about Hunter and travesty for the rebellion, what of the halflings now. You see people talking about should we go back to Skyer, and the mention of the name Heinous, mention of the name Kuruk.
yeah.
But this is all just conversations crossing each other, so we don't make a lot of sense about
But
this.
I kind of want to try and find somebody like in charge or something, like somebody who knows what's going on, what plan is.
Yeah, you see some people walking among the other who are not so well dressed. You can clearly see which of the people are caretakers. And eventually one of them comes by you, puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Hi, little fellow.
Hey.
I haven't met you before. You're new here."
Yeah, I just arrived.
"I see. Well, my name is Vissa Highland. Welcome to Bliss. Be sure to eat. Get some warm clothes. Our leader, the half-orc Tawagrim, will meet you all shortly. Are you okay?"
But what's going on here? Why is everybody gathered here?
Well, Bliss has always been a safe haven for people under persecution, the Dragonborns by the Inquisition and other magic users. But of course we've always tried to free the halflings. Tawagrim has been very passionate about this for many years, trying to do it politically. But it has failed time after time. His last hope was Richard Von Nash. They had written letters to each other for a long period of time, but sadly it changed. He was killed, assassinated by the king. What's going on right now specifically is that two guys came here, or three to be precise. One of them has been lying ill ever since, called Hadurai. Kettle is from here. He went on a journey over to East Morel to find Richard Van Nash. He returned with the sad news that Richard Van Nash has been killed, but he brought with him a friend called Hunter. Hunter and Kedal changed the mind of Tawagrim that a diplomatic solution has failed. So Taogrim and Gadal have convinced Taogrim that they must act differently now, by force. And so we have. So we are trying now to save as many halflings as we can. The dwarves of the north have started war against King Vash, and we are using that for our benefits. King Vash has now focus on the dwarves, so we can do what we can, hidden in the shadows. We want to save as many halflings as possible. Now, I am just one of the guards of the door, so I don't have all the information, but I know that Hunter is one of the big planners and one of the big players in this rebellion, and he has just died. So everyone in Bliss is a bit shocked right now, and we do not know what will happen next.
Oh. But these guys, was one of them a guy with big horns?
Yes, that would be Hunter, the one who has just passed.
And a druid?
Yeah. Kedal.
I think I need to talk to her.
Oh. Yeah. No one knows where he is right now. He's quite shocked after what happened.
Yeah, I saw. I was there.
Okay. But I feel like if you really want to see him, be warned. He's become bitter. He's normally a very friendly guy. But I don't know his state of mind right now.
I understand. So am I. But I need to see him. I need to make this right.
I sense you carry some guilt. I understand and I respect you for it. I don't know what happened. It isn't my place either. We don't know where Kettle is. But Taogrim, our leader, has sent scouts looking for him.
I would like to sneak so the scout doesn't find me.
Yeah, okay, roll a stealth check.
That sucks. So it's 8 plus 3. It's 11 stealth.
Yeah, he finds you. So Highline continues the conversation and says that I've heard a rumor that one of our scouts, Barian, has located where he is. But I don't know what the situation is right now, so I would recommend that you wait. What do you want me to tell you as soon as he has arrived to Bliss?
Yeah, I would like that.
Do I spot the spy at least with my very high passive perception? Or is he stealthing after me as well?
Of course he is.
Okay. What did he roll in? If he needs to roll a stealth check on above 22. 22 or above.
Yeah, well, he fails a DC of 22.
Then I should probably know where he is. Has perception of 21. I confront him right away when I find. I'm sorry, you can take this, then we'll take confrontation afterwards.
Yeah, we'll take it afterwards. Highland says that, sure, as soon as we know anything, we'll let you know, little one. Now be sure to rest, eat, find new clothes, and welcome to Bliss.
Thank you.
And he leaves. Now, at the meantime, Barry and the scout is tracking down Kettle, and he knows where he is. He's not going too far away from him. Then suddenly he bows down to go behind some leaves, and all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, Kettle is standing right in front of him.
And as I confront him, I tap my quarterstaff and cast Shillelagh, so the gnarls on it, they sprout out in an aggressive manner. And I just look at him. I try to figure out where he's hiding. Just brush the bushes aside. I stare right into his eyes and say, "Leave me alone."
He reacts in kind of a shock. Kettle, easy. We're just worried about your son. Taogrim wants you no ill. He just sent me to keep an eye on you.
If you don't leave right now, I'm going to make you leave. Leave me alone.
I'm not going to fight you, Kettle. I'll leave. But you're going a dark path, boy. And then he leaves.
Okay. Then I find a new place to sit. And I try and stealth again, I suppose. Can I do that?
Yeah, of course you can. Just roll the dice. Stealth check.
It's 15 for stealth.
Well, that's enough. Anyway, back in Bliss, Berian comes into town and he meets Highland. Highland says to Berian, "Do you have any luck finding Kettle?" "Yeah, I did. The boy has lost it. He's very angry and bitter. But I lost track of him after a while. He told me to leave. The boy even threatened me. I'm sad to hear that. But I want to tell you there's a halfling in town. He's looking for Kedal. If you see him, can you just tell him that he's not available right now?" And Highland describes to Berian how this halfling looks. And Martin, can you describe how the halfling looks?
Well, short. Well, average.
Wow!
Average for a halfling. Dark hair. Pretty raggedy clothes. And only one eye. Have an eye patch over the right eye. Yeah. Oh, it's pretty. Probably in late 20s. Something like that.
Okay, cool. Highland, Berian says to Highland then, "Sure, I'll tell him." And he goes off looking for this halfling with an eye patch. And it doesn't take long for him to find you.
The eye patch is kind of a telltale.
Yeah, exactly. He walks over to you, introduces himself. "Hi, my name's Berian. Were you the one looking for Kedal?"
Yeah.
Highland told me. I feel like just have to clarify something with you. I did find him, but he's one of the best perceptive druids we've got here in Bliss. And he's very angry and told me basically to just fuck off. And I didn't want to start a fight with one of our own. But give him time. He is a kind boy. He just needs to get over this. But as of right now, there will be no talking to him, I fear.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll wait here till he comes back.
Sure, do that. And he then leaves. And then at this point, as you're just sitting there resting, a half-orc comes in, like Highland described you. And you figure this probably must be Taugrim. And he approaches you and says to you,
"Hello, young one. What's your name?"
My name is Garrick.
Garrick. Hello, Garrick. Welcome to Bliss. Tell me, were you one of the halflings who arrived from the wall with a young druid called Kettle on a griffin?
Yeah, I did.
Could you describe what happened?
Well, we were taken. I was taken capture in Maor Rest Town, and they dragged us up to this gate and held us hostage, me and 5 other halflings. And they tried to. Some big guy with a lot of armor tried to get through the walls, and then Kettle and that other guy with the horns showed up. And they tried to stop them. A lot of my friends died. And at the end, something happened, and the horned guy and the big guy died. I don't know how it happened, really, but so we were panicked, and at last we got on the griffin, and we just got out of there. It was pretty horrible.
I see. Many died. I heard you were looking for Kettle. Is that right?
Yeah, I want to talk to him. I want to help. I want to get even against all these bastards. Just keep doing this bad stuff. Makes things right.
Taugrim then sits down beside you, Garrick, and continues to talk.
I've known him since he was a boy. The way he talked to me when he returned took me by surprise. He's taken this really hard. He's in deep mourning, and I don't know when he will be able to talk. He blames everyone right now. No, that's not right. He blames me. I feel since you want to talk to him that you should know, even if your intentions are good, that he is not in the right state of mind. And I was just informed he has shown signs of aggression. All his life I've never seen him like this. But don't worry, Garrick. Just give him time. He's a sweet lad, positive, polite, usually happy.
Yeah.
Maybe I sent him out into Ariana too young. But he was so eager to help your kind. But going out into Ariana at such a young age can take a toll on a person. It's an unfair and cruel world. And by the looks of your scars, you would know much about that, wouldn't you, Garrick?
Yeah.
The reason I tell you this is so you don't take Kettle for a bitter man. He's just in mourning, and it will pass. Give him time. He will need all the help he can get now that Hunter is gone. Hunter and Kettle had a strong bond, and by the stories Hunter told me, they experienced many amazing things together. Anyway, welcome to Bliss.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to know?
No, I just want somebody to point me in the direction of the king so I can stab him in the neck.
King Vash?
Yes.
That's the spirit we want around here.
And Taugrim gets back on his feet, walks away to leave. But as he's leaving, he turns around and says to you, Garrick,
remember, have patience with Kettle. He just needs to mourn and will be eager to talk when he's better.
And the Taugrim walks off, mumbling to himself.
By Burka, I hope I'm right. We need you, lad.
So what does Kettle do in the meanwhile?
I would like to first and foremost find another tree, probably several hundred feet from where I had my confrontation with the scout. And then I'd like to find a big tree with several branches around the crown of it. So it sort of makes, it has space for one to sit in between the crown of the tree and probably lay down in between the crown of the tree. I'll sort of search for a tree like that. And when I find it, do I find it? Do I need to roll anything to find it?
No, I think among the big forests that are, you will find one.
Okay. When I find it, I use wild shape to turn myself into an ape. Find the tree, preferably a tall tree, and I sit on the crown of it, and I touch the base of the crown of the tree. And cast half of moonlight and shadow. Around the crown of the tree. And then I sit and I start to meditate. And as I do, once again, I don't. If I get any hint that Bushka is trying to make contact with me, I'll brush it off. And instead, I'll focus all my intent on the visage, demonic visage that I saw before, as much as I can. Try it, and I probably won't get an answer, but I'll just sit there and focus, think, try to think out loud without saying anything. So it's kind of hard to explain, but really focus my intent on I'm coming for you.
As you're concentrating on this, the sensation you get is a bit confusing. You hear echoing in your head the words of Bushka saying, I smell sulfur in the air. And then you yourself smell the sulfur. But then it kind of disappears again because you are holding back, like you said, and ignoring all sensation coming from Bushka herself. So you yourself deny this sensation, and it happens. Nothing more happens.
Then I probably sit and focus there so long, so I tire myself out and I fall asleep in the crown, base of the crown of the tree. And if someone tries to find me, I should be pretty shielded, because first and foremost I'm up. Then there's this 30 feet bubble that shields me from sight, so they need to get in the bubble before they actually can see me. Yeah. I'm up in the air as well.
Cool. In the meanwhile, back at the refugee camp in Bliss, Garrick, can you roll me a perception check?
20.
20, cool. As you're sitting there in the refugee camp, relaxing and looking around, you suddenly notice in the corner of your eye as one is walking around in a robe, which is a little bit unlike the other people here in the crowds. And as he turns around, you see him actually carrying weapons. And notice that he has armor on. And that is very unlike anyone else in this camp.
Okay.
You notice that he looks very suspicious, the way he's looking around, eyeing the amount of people in there, looking for people who are guarding, looking at the entrance, and then you see him walking away from where you are standing.
I'll follow. Sneakily.
Yeah, roll a stealth check.
20.
Nice. Du sneaky, man.
Yeah, very nice. Well, your height is very beneficial for you. As you are sneaking in the crowds here, he doesn't see you at all as you approach him. You see him walking all the way to the end of the tent surrounding this refugee camps. He looks around, thinks he is unwatched, and you see him take a blade and cut a hole in the side of the tent. And he thinks he's doing it very stealthily. And after opening the tent, cutting a hole in it, you see him stretching his hand inside, or in this form outside, because you're inside, and it seems like he's gesturing a wave for something to approach.
Do I know what tent it is?
Yeah, it's the refugee camps. It has wooden pillars around, but the other side walls it's just a tent. And then you notice more people, hooded, armored, coming in through this hole inside the tent.
Oh, so you're letting people go in the tent?
Yeah, exactly. And can you at this point roll another perception check?
It's not so good. 14. No, 10.
Okay, a 10. At this point, the soldier you were following shifts side, and now he turns his back to you, so you can't see as good as you did before. So you can't notice what kind of men these are, what kind of weapons they carry, and how they look. But you do notice that as he guides them inside, he moves them along the wall of the tent, so they're like moving around on the side of the refugee camp, surrounding it on the inner side.
Is there any guards? Is that Visa in there?
Yeah, you see him walking among the people.
So
there.
he's in there.
Yeah, about 50 feet on your right. But there's a lot of people between you and him. It's a bit scattered of people. Huh?
That's fine. Yeah. I cast message. Point on him, cast message, and say, Hey, Visa, there's people being snuck into the tent.
You notice that he's instantly surprised at the voice in his head, like kind of looks up, looks around, trying to figure out who's talking to him.
It's me, it's the halfling. Garrick. I'm over here.
Okay, after a few seconds, realizing what is going on, he looks around, and then his eyes catch you, and he sees where you are.
And then I point at the direction of where he cut that hole.
He doesn't really know what you are pointing at or what you mean, so he's actually walking over to you. And as he comes closer, he still sees you pointing and notices this hole in the side of the tent, and he looks at the side of the tent and can see a couple of guys walking alongside the wall, and he walks a little bit faster over to you. Say, Garrick, what's going on?
He just cut a hole in the tent and let in a bunch of people from outside. I don't know, and he's wearing armor. He seems very mysterious.
I see. Something's definitely wrong here, Garrick.
Mm-hmm.
Can you fight?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Can you move along this wall by the tent? So you actually approach him from this side. I'll take him from the other side. We'll catch him on each other side. I will send one of the soldiers to get reinforcements. Damn it, something's definitely going wrong here. Okay, go.
Yeah, I do what he said.
Okay, so you move along the tent as he told you to do, and there's a lot of people in your way, so you're like scattering between the people to get to your destination, and before you know it, you're actually standing right in front of the first guy with a hood, the armored guy, and standing at his feet. He hasn't noticed you yet.
Well, first of all, do I have any weapons?
Sadly, no. You weren't given any weapons when you arrived, and all the weapons were taken from you at the wall. So, no, basically, you don't have any weapons, but as you look around, there are food utensils, and there are blades by the size of daggers.
Okay. I try and look big. What are you doing here?
He doesn't acknowledge you that much. He doesn't answer you. Doesn't seem scared of you. He just says, "Shh, mind your own business, boy."
Okay. Then I will cast. I will cast Shadow Blade, and a shadow forms around my hand and solidifies into a sword, and I put it to his chest and say, "I asked you a question."
Well, he becomes really surprised and what the whoa. You see him looking around, kind of panicking, and then he says, "Okay, guys, now!"
Then I will stab him.
Roll an attack.
How is the lighting in here? Would you say dim?
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
Rigtig får man også advanced dim light.
Ja, den er med Shadow Blade, der gør man.
Great. Nice. Så det er både dim light og darkness.
Ja. Crit. And we just double up, right? Yeah. Do we get sneak attack?
No, you're looking in each other's eyes, so no.
But you had advantage.
Oh yeah, I had advantage, so I do get sneak attack.
So you're a rogue? Arcane trickster?
Nope.
What the fuck?
Well, I'm a rogue, but not an arcane trickster. Okay, so that's 2d6. Ugh, not great. 8, 10, 11, 22 damage.
Ouch, okay. As soon as he shouts out, "Now!" you just take a blade and you fucking stab him.
And it's psychic damage. Well, some of it.
All of it.
No, the sneak attack is not.
Sneak attack is the damage type of your
Is it?
weapon.
Okay, then it's all sneak. It's all psychic.
So Shadow Blade works wonders with that.
It's enough actually to kill this guy. So he falls down to the ground and blood splashes out of his body, and people are now starting to panic. Garrick, roll initiative. And before we go to the encounter, let's take a quick look at what Kettle is doing.
I'm going to, after I finish, that's probably going to be after all this is done and combat is done, because I fell asleep. So it's much hours into the future this. But if I wake up and I'm not going to like be engaged in the combat here.
So that means that no matter what reaction you hear from the town or from Bliss, you're not going to react?
Well, yeah, I am. But I wake up. Do I hear something?
Well, yeah, you do. You hear bells. You've never heard these bells before, but you know they are from Bliss, and you know they are signalized or are to be wrong if Bliss has been discovered and is no longer secret, or there's an attack on Bliss.
Because I was actually going to do something else. Damn it.
Well, it seems like Kettle has a choice to make.
Then I return to Bliss.
Well, okay then. Awesome. And Garrick, do you have that initiative roll?
25.
Nice.
And I actually turn into I need to know what CR I can turn into right now. I turn into the fastest animal I can, because I'm going to turn, I think it's something like 40 or 50 feet of movement around.
Panda has 50.
Yeah, det burde godt kunne.
Yeah, it's like CR a half.
Yeah, that I can. So I turn into...
You can't turn into something flying yet?
No, it's level 8. So I turn into a panther and I start running towards the city as fast. I dash fast as I can.
Very cool. Can you roll initiative for when you arrive? It's going to take you a while before you get to Bliss, but have your initiative roll ready.
But then I'll probably need the Panthers. No, I can just use my own. So that's going to be a 5.
5. Noted. And Garrick, did you just say 25 for your initiative?
Yes. +9.
What? But how?
Because,
Kan man have expertise i initiativ?
My charisma.
Boss.
So yeah, now we're back in Bliss. The bells are ringing, people are panicking, and it is actually your turn, Garrick.
Yeah, I just look for the nearest target.
That would be 15 feet on your left side.
Okay. Well, I run towards him and take my shadow blade and try to stab him.
Cool. Roll an attack.
And I have advantage because I assume it's still dim light. It's not so good. So only 13.
That hits.
Yeah, cool. And I get sneak attack again. I actually would either way because also if he's standing alone, I also get sneak attack because of my archetype or my subclass.
Oh, okay.
You know now?
Yeah, we'll go swashbuckler. Yeah. Be nice.
20 damage.
Okay, cool. Well, that's enough to kill him also. So, Garrick is furious. He's gone mad. I mean, after all that has happened, he instantly kills the first guy. Walks over to the guy standing 10 feet away, 15 feet away from him. He cuts his throat instantly. You just mauling him. Garrick is in a blood rage. But at this point, all the civilians have exited the tent now in panic. And the fight is on. One thing you notice also, Garrick, before everyone has left the tent, that is some of the other hooded people who you were not encountered with are stabbing at the civilians, and you hear yelling and shouting among the people who were panicking before, and some of them actually mentioned the name, we were neighbors in Sky, what are you doing? I'm dying, I knew you, and stuff like this, and this sounds like panic and betrayal in the people. Anyway, then all the civilians are out, and there are a lot of dead people on the ground, and the only thing you can see are the soldiers closing in on you. And before I'm going to make their turn, Kettle, it will be a couple of rounds before you reach Bliss and this refugee camp.
Makes sense. Yeah. Should we roll something like a d4 to maintain the rounds before I enter?
We're just going to be fixed on 4 turns.
4 rounds before I enter. Yeah. I have a d4 controlling it here, so you just say when you start the next round without.
Yeah, cool, I'll do that. Anyway, there's a guy standing 15 feet right in front of you, Garrick, and he comes over to you, takes a sword, and goes for an attack. It's a scimitar, and he rolls 14 to hit.
Shield! I cast shield. So no, he does not hit.
Okay, so as he's about to strike you, just hits this magic shield.
Yeah.
You see there are 2 other soldiers or hooded enemies in there who haven't really catched eye on you yet, and they're moving around, stabbing, checking if the bodies are dead. But the third one sees you and comes also running at you, Garrick, and makes an attack on you. He rolls extremely low.
Yeah, and my AC is 19 right now because of the shield. So.
Well, yeah, then he definitely doesn't hit. That is the first round, Kettle, and Garrick, your turn again.
Okay, so now there's 2 guys next to me.
2 guys next to you, and 2 guys are searching the area. What's that? 40 and 50 feet away from you.
Okay. Well, I pick one, and then I still have my shadow blade, and I scream, "Green flame blade!" And I stab one guy. Crit. I'm going completely berserk here. So first First, the guy I stab takes...
Det må være en ny runde, ikke? Når det er dig, der starter.
First guy 7, 9. The first guy takes 18 damage, and the guy next to him takes. What is plus 6? 8 damage to the guy next to him.
So Garrick resummons his blade and goes straight for the guy right in front of him, stabbing him. And what causes the damage for the second guy?
Yeah, so I stab one guy, and then like a green flame jumps from him to the guy next to him.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he screams in pain from the flames. You hear also that there's a lot of fighting going on outside, but that's not your focus right now. You see then one of the guys who were standing off searching their bodies come closer to you, and you see he's actually better armed and looks more like a leader type. And he goes for attack on you as well, taking the scimitar as well, and stabs at you. And rolls a 23 to hit.
A 23, yeah, that hits.
You receive 7 damage from that.
7 damage.
Yeah, slashing. And he makes another attack with the scimitar. But this time it's only 15.
It still hits.
Oh, okay, so it still hits.
Because it's been my turn, so I don't have shield up.
Ah, yeah, of course.
I probably should throw it. Actually, no. Can I cast shield again?
Yeah, it's okay.
So then it won't hit.
No, exactly. Okay, so he hits you with the first strike, you receive damage. He comes for the second attack, and you throw this spell of shield. He hits it. He takes one step back, but he goes for a third attack with a blade. Tries to hit you. Ooh, it's a critical hit. Yeah, so it seems like as he goes for the third attack with the blade, he, by sheer of luck, hits between where the shield is about to cover your total body and gets a good strike at you.
Nice.
And you take, it's only 6 slashing damage. And then another round goes by. There is the guy you killed now, and then there is the big guy standing next to you, Garrick. And it's your turn again. Kettle is coming closer.
At me again. So I have 2 guys next to me again, right?
Yes, that guy, normal soldier, and the bigger guy. But still, you hear that there's fighting going on outside the tent from where you are right now.
But what if the other guy didn't get a turn?
Ah, you're right. Whoa. That was close. He also takes a scimitar and goes to attack for you. Thank you, Martin. He rolls a 16.
And does not hit because my shield is...
Damn it. Well, now it's your turn.
Oh, I actually have to make a constitution saving throw for that damage before. Oh, and I have advantage. But it doesn't matter. Oh, you saw the 16, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent.
So 16, so you keep your shield.
Okay. So I will green flame blade again. This time the big guy. 21.
Well, that hits.
So he gets, and then because then there's an extra d8 for the because I'm over level 5. It's just about knowing a new character.
Oh,
Did you check that?
3
8s on 3 d8s, 3 8s. And then a 5 and a 4. So that would be 8, 16, 24, 29, 33 damage.
I really like how arrogant you sound while you count your dice, Martin. But that is nice.
That's insane.
Yeah, and you also forgot to add your modifier, so that makes it
36. Yeah. And then 9 to the guy next to him.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so this bloodlusted little halfling is going completely berserk. He jumps at the big guy, takes this green flamed sword and short sword and sticks it, and it goes deep inside him, and he screams in agony, pushing you off, holding to his side. It doesn't completely kill him, but he's extremely hurt. Blood is gushing out of him, and then the flame from the blade bursts up in the head on the guy next to him. Now he was already badly wounded, so the flames actually damages enough to kill him. And right after all this, the big guy, it is his turn. So he's getting back on his feet, trying to recover as much energy as he can, and goes for attack on you, Garrick. But it's only a 12 to hit.
That does not hit.
Yeah, no, he's in bad shape, trying to fight off. You see him just waddling around, not holding his balance, but he goes for another attack. This time it's a 20, not a natural.
Yeah, that hits.
But it's a horrible roll. It's only 4 slashing damage. So you see him stabbing at you, off balance, not hitting you, but then he tries to summon his strength, jumps up and hammers down with his scimitar. This time he hits, but the wound isn't deep.
And så er det Og er det et saving throw?
Det er det. Hvis du skal lave concentration.
Okay, den er pass. Den er pass.
So you maintain your shield. High AC. Cool. But he then almost falls down on one knee, but he's not finished with you. He's lying there, and then he quickly takes a dagger and tries to get a final strike at you. That's a critical miss. He actually makes a fumble. He tries to attack you, and the blood is gushing out of him in his hand. The blade becomes slippery, and he actually drops it as he tries to stab you. But then you see, Garrick, that there are 2 new guys appearing into the tent. So there's still the big guy and 2 new soldiers.
Yeah.
And they are ganging up on you, moving closer to you, Garrick. And that will be the end of the 3rd round, and we have reached now the 4th round.
Okay. But then I come in. When I get to the city and I see all of this happening, I turn. So I'm not a panther anymore, because I would have turned back when I got to the city.
Okay, cool. I like it. The thing you notice, Kettle, we're gonna focus a bit on you, as you run and turn back into human form as you enter Bliss. There's no guards at the entrance. And before entering, you heard the crowd panicking in the distance. The sun has almost stopped now, but there's still fighting going on the inside, and people are... most of the people who are died are lying right outside the tent of the refugee camp, and you see some of the soldiers pointing at the refugee camp and saying, "Go check out if there are any survivors in there. Anyone, please." And they are in the midst of fight, can't do it themselves. And Kettle, then you move towards the tent, and when you come inside the tent, you see a massive amount of people are slaughtered down on the ground. People you know from Bliss and people from Skyer that you've met, and then you see this one halfling covered in blood, and 2 soldiers who are just about to attack him, and they turn around to see you enter. And here is where we're gonna stop for episode 22. Ooh, how will Kettle react now he has arrived back in Bliss? It's gonna be excited to find out, guys. Be sure to check us out next week, when we're gonna reveal what happens when Garrick, Kettle interact with one another. If you like the podcast, guys, remember to give us a like.
Thanks for stopping by.
Arcane Trickster?
Nope.
What the fuck?